Hello, welcome to another recap video. Today we're going to be talking about the Code Orange game out at Cresson. That happened on November 2nd of 2024. It was hosted by Otherworld Productions. Great guys, really like their venues and their games. I was on the Federation side. We had Ben and Dan as our CO and XO respectively. A couple of great dudes. I wouldn't have anybody else leading us. Just because, especially because Dan is just so, he's just on it. You know, he can organize things in a way I haven't seen anybody else do for a long time. So this time I did try to use cameras. Tried to use a little cell phone, like an old cell phone that I own, mounted to the MG here. And I also tried to use this little GoPro. It's an off-brand, but I mounted it to my hat. It's a good spot to mount it, but the actual GoPro is pretty low quality, and I think the case needs replaced because there's too much glare in the camera. Excuse me. So besides that, and unfortunately not getting enough video, and that's something I really want to work on next year. Hopefully, you know, with maybe I get some, you know, Christmas gift cards or something like that. Maybe I'll spring on that kind of stuff. So that'd be nice. Want to bring better quality content out and not just do these recaps, even though I'm kind of doing these recaps for me, just so, you know, I can look back and say, hey, that was a great time. Or if anybody was there at the game and wanted to, you know, talk about it, leave a comment. I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff today. I have it written out. I got a script, kind of some bullet points, so let's get to it. At this game, there were a lot of drones. Drones are very prevalent. We had, I think, guys that tried to drop ordnance from drones, but mostly the drones were just there for surveillance. Nothing too fancy, but the drones all had like the gyro stabilized cameras. I even had two of my good friends, one had to rescue the other guy's drone from the top of Building J, which was kind of cool. There's videos out of it. If you want to go look up Blackbird Intelligence Group on Facebook, they've got a picture of it being rescued, and it's just pretty neat. So props to them. That was impressive. Although also they had a couple technicals there. So we had two on our team and one on the TAN team. I think R2, we had one with a minigun and a machine gun in the front, and then another guy with just a machine gun and a turret. Pretty cool. I love to see that kind of stuff, you know, really good ingenuity. You know, obviously I'm into that kind of stuff. So I even thought about using an old truck of mine, but I can't really rely on it that much. So we'll see. The technicals we had, I didn't really see the enemy technical, although I did see one of our guys coming back when I was posted up in Building A on Overwatch. We'll talk about that. Coming back, I did witness it, and I was too far away to do anything, unfortunately. Just one TAN guy running up, jumped up on the car and chucked a grenade inside the turret. And I saw, you know, the ref was right there watching. He was like, hey, you shouldn't do that, but, you know, good job. You know, it's like, wow, that's pretty impressive, you know. But that goes to show you what how good technicals are when you don't have infantry support, because they, you know, if they had infantry around them, they would have been watching. They wouldn't be able to do something about it. So, but lessons learned. So this is my first time at CQB. This AO is very popular among the community. It is just an incredible place. There are, I believe, 12 buildings, maybe more buildings, probably 16, because there's not only building numbers, but there's also building letters, and we'll go through all that. There's a map up on Otherworld Milsim or Otherworld Productions page for it, and I'm sure it's out there elsewhere too. Being my first time at CQB, it was a big learning curve for me. I did not expect it to be that dark inside of some of these places. I brought two flashlights. I actually brought one other weapon light where the batteries are the C123s. But they are not very good. I have this one. This is a little mini mag light, and if I had to, you know, if I had to go again, I just buy 3 of them and use them, because that's what I use pretty much anytime I need a light. So yeah, big lesson there. Pack light and also the machine gun. Really, with the rule set, they say you can't use the MG inside unless it's select fire. There's plenty of windows to shoot from, but getting there is the problem, and these buildings are pretty big. A lot of them are anyway. So getting around them and that's the fun part of the AO, is getting around and clearing rooms and clearing corners and surprises and all kinds of stuff. You can have like a small force holding off a big force just because they got a good angle on it. It's stuff like that. So the my first outing was with the demo squad, and I had the MG and my little Glock here. Now, unfortunately, you can't really, with it being cold out, and especially colder up in the mountains there, you can't rely on gas guns. Battery's the way to go, pretty much always. So, yeah, it was. I'm glad I didn't have to use it, because I tried shooting it after the game and it just clicked. The magazine had leaked out, and I need somebody to show me how to get that. How to fix that, because every single gas gun I've ever owned, the mag leaks constantly, consistently, like within, I don't know, 1 or 2 games, and I feel like it shouldn't be that way. So if any of you guys have tips, let me know. Send me a link to a video or something. But yeah, I was attached to the demo squad, and a couple of cool guys. One name's Alex. He had a kilt on. I think he was running like a shorty M4, and then there was Butters. Butters was really cool. He was real helpful, and it looked like he had definitely done this a couple times. He had an MP5, and he was the guy that was usually running with the cradle. So they had like this big wooden cradle that they would carry, with them. And the demo squad had to have at least 2 guys, and there was only 2 guys. There's supposed to be more, but we didn't really have a home, me and my buddies, so we just kind of linked up with them, and we went on our way. So the cradle, though, the cradle is supposed to be carrying this missile. So like, you're supposed to go out, find the missile. The missile can only be moved by the demo squad in this cradle, and has to be used. The cradle has to be used by both of them. So you've got teamwork in play, and just basically it's a real fun time, real fun objective and a premise. So we already talked about the downsides around the MG. The MG, we went to the first building 1 right off the bat, and we were taking fire, so we had to rush the door like already, and we had to get into the basement, pitch black. I immediately had to stop, pull out my pistol and try to mess around with my light. Really should have done all this stuff ahead of time. I kind of thought I'd have some time. No, sir. So if you're gonna, go to that AO, this might be a good learning experience for you. Probably teach a couple things in this video that you might not have known. So if you're gonna run a machine gun, select fire only, unless you have a really reliable pistol and it's nice and hot outside when the gas pistols like to work. And if, I think I would run this again, because there were definitely times where I could have used it when we were outside trying to suppress a building or something like that. But all the fun's inside, man. Like, you got to be able to go and shoot. And if you're going to have like a non-select fire machine gun, make sure you have a way to put it on your back, because I did not. I'm carrying around with this carrying handle or on my shoulder or something like that, trying to clear corners and watch our back for the pistol, because I'm no good otherwise. So that's about it. Now, we went to the building 1 at first. We didn't find the missile down there. We don't know if the recon squad got it or if it was hiding somewhere. We didn't have any hints or anything yet. So we, I believe from there, we RTB'd. I can't remember the exact timeline. I think we just returned to base. And then after that, I know we went right back out, right through building J. I believe it's J. Yeah. J is like right by the Federation spawn. So we went through there, we looked around. I found a gas can, but that was it. I had my buddy Richard bring it back. Then we got up to, I believe it was building, I want to say it was 4. Building 4, we went around, kind of hooked around, and got caught in this stairwell. So we're trying to clear it, and there's, I think, 8 of us, probably around 8 of us, and we're trying to get up in there. And there's just 3 dudes up at the top floor in the attic, just pinning us down. And like, props to them for getting there first, but really, I think if anybody would have gotten there first, they would, probably would have been able to do the same thing. And that's kind of my point, what I was saying earlier. You should be able to, you should know when it's not worth it to go and try to take something, because we used up a lot of resources, a lot of tourniquets, a lot of grenades trying to get up there. I'm terrible at throwing. I gave it a shot. I have 2. I had one that was all I've had for 10 years. Just never used it because I knew I'm terrible at throwing. So chucked it and missed, obviously. So that stunk. But we eventually got through there thanks to Butters. He flanked around. He went across the, I think, the second floor, went right across, came up, and I think got him from the side or something like that. I don't know if, I couldn't tell if the three just gave up because they were getting bored because we were there for a good 20 minutes, or if they, yeah, I don't really know if they actually got hit or not. So we did end up taking that stairwell eventually, and then we held that courtyard. The stairwell was overlooking a courtyard, a couple rooms were, and another group of tan came up behind us, and we smoked it. You know, it just goes to show you, if you're in the right position, you can do a lot of damage. Being in the right place at the right time is huge in CQB, and having guys watching every single angle. There's so many corners, so many windows, doors, you name it, murder holes, stuff like that. So I think after that, I believe we went, no. See, I can't remember very well. We returned to base pretty often early in the day, but then after a while we go back out. So I believe the next thing that happened, and I might be missing some stuff here, is they had this U-Haul that they rented. Usually they have a 1.5 truck. It would go around and just drop people off. You know, you could have guys like the tan team with their spawn being so far away, you would pick them up from the parking lot, take them out there, and then bring some guys back who wanted to take a break or something like that. So, yeah, we had, they couldn't get their 1.5 working, so they rented a U-Haul to use in lieu of that. And that's pretty big of them, because they could have just said, you know, screw it, we're not going to do anything. But they didn't. They got it working, so that was awesome. The U-Haul, the rules were you can't shoot out of it, you can't shoot into it, but as soon as you disembark, you're fair game. So we were sent on this mission up by Building 6, on the north side of Building 6. No, it's the north. It's the top side of Building 6 when you're looking at the map. I don't know if it's north geographically or not. But we got up there, and they dropped us off in the parking lot, and we were told by Paul, who was driving it, he was like, hey, if it's too hot, just knock 3 times, and I'll keep going. We'll go find somewhere else to drop you off. Well, we got up there. We didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Apparently there were tan guys along the route staking us out. We definitely saw them on the walk back. They were staking us out. They had radios and just were sitting there to watch us. So they were well hidden, and when we got dropped off in this courtyard, the door, there were 2 doors that we could have gone in, and both of them were locked. So we just got smoked by a guy in a 3rd floor window like 5 seconds after we all got out. And he'd been there probably who knows how long. You know, he's probably been waiting for this this moment all day. And you know, he was saying some real I don't know if I would call it unsportsmanlike things on our walk back as dead guys, but yeah, he was just, I'm sure he was in a good mood. You know, I'll put it that way. So after that, we did get the we got massacred. We walked back. I think it was after that we flanked back behind Building 1. We went back down on the map, down on the hill, and flanked, I think it was 11 and 12 buildings, maybe 10 and, no, 9 and 10, yeah. 9 and 10. We flanked behind there. We got up and we got into Building K. I don't think there were any issues. We were just trying to be, you know, quiet about it, quick about it. There was one instance where we were trying to get into Building 1, and like I said, I can't remember the exact timeline. It's fuzzy. If my camera was working, I could tell you, but batteries died. So we were in Building 1, coming up through the bottom, and we were coming up through this stairwell, and we had a challenge and a call sign, or a challenge and a counter sign. So we had purple and nurple, and then it changed to chicken and little. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, a challenge and a counter sign is a good idea, but can we make it something that's not so obvious? Like, you know, if you played like Call of Duty, you might see like challenge ice pick, counter sign Phoenix. You know, they're completely random words that don't mean anything together. And we just, purple nurple is like, you hear it once and then the tan team circulates it, and then everybody's using it. So basically we got into the stairwell, and my one buddy Josh, he calls out purple, you know, because he sees somebody up there. They're like green or tan, we're like purple. It's like, oh, purple, 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 and they open up on us, and Butters is trying to come in behind us like, no, and he doesn't quite get there in time. And so Butters and I think Junior are the only ones that stayed up, and then I think Senior and I, Josh Senior, and myself, we got smoked. So, you know, that was a learning experience. We got one of them, but that was definitely a stalemate right there in that one stairwell until I think we had like 10 reinforcements show up. They steamrolled. I don't know what it was. It was only a group of 3 tan guys in there, one with the machine gun that we got, which, you know, I'm thinking it was select fire. I hope it was select fire. It looked like, you know, a smaller compact Stoner 63 or something like that, but who knows. But they did a great job, the guys that came behind us. We went out, I think we went out and around. We got up to building K, and we just cleared it, held it. There was a skirmish point in there, so we took it if it wasn't already taken. And then from there, I cannot remember what else we did. I think we went back to building 1. I got smoked in the back of the head going back there. Eventually, I got revived by a group of guys in a technical, which was really cool of them to stop and do. Then I think at that point we entered the tunnels. So there's tunnels from building 1 to, I believe, building 6. There might even be tunnels to building 4 as well. I'm not really keen on it. It's my first time there, but the AO is small enough. You kind of get a lay of the land pretty much immediately when you're out there. So we went through the tunnels. Whole time I'm like terrified, dude. I'm like, it's one linear shot down there. It's like curves a little bit and it goes up a little bit from building 1, but it's really, if anybody's coming the other way, it's fish in a barrel. Like you're not gonna get through. It's just luck at that point. You know, you might chuck a grenade and try to get in there, but that's all you can really do. So we got into building 5 or 6. We actually linked up halfway through the tunnel with I think our sniper or recon squad, because I remember seeing Nate and his buddy Dylan there. And when we got to the other end of the tunnel, it forks, so we split ways. We went left, they went right. And I believe they took up position in building 5 and just did overwatch for us. So they got building 5, we searched building 6. And then at that point, we went outside. We got sniper cover from them to building E. So they were spotting us. They said, you know, where to go, and like flank right, flank hard right, you should be able to get them. So that's what we tried to do. We actually found some of our own guys down there on the flank of building E, trying to hold it down. Unfortunately, there were a ton of them coming. So I think it was maybe me that said, you know, hey, let's get out of here. And then I heard another guy complaining that we lost that position. So it happens. It's whatever. My bad, dude. He had it with his 3 guys. He had it locked down for a while, but we all pulled out of there because we had to get regrouped. We wanted to see who all we had so we could know if we could push this thing. Because with building E, it was a cell block, right? So there was only, and the back 2 doors that we could access were locked. So that sucked. But where it converges, there's a door in the center there, and we're going to talk about that more later because there's some more stuff that happened at nighttime at that building. That's probably the most fun I've had in a long time at Airsoft. But anyway, they could pretty much from that door just hold us down completely. We tried to hold that side of that building, and I cannot remember exactly what happened. I believe that we were all getting low on energy and ammo at that point. We did have a drone drop us off 2 mags. We didn't ask for them, but they found us and they dropped them off to us, so thank you. You know, that was pretty awesome. So, yeah. Then we went back, we returned to base. At that point, I believe was when I got the mission to go do Overwatch on Building A. So Dan, I don't know if he's a CO or XO, I think he's the XO, told me to take Kelly and go to do Overwatch in Building A. He said Intel was saying that they were going to push down from, I think it was Building B or C, from the hill, move down into Building I or 4, and then from I or 4 take Building J. And I got there, I thought Building A was still occupied, so I said, hey, bring me like 2 rifles and a medic, and I'll be able to hold that thing all day. You know, it's not going to leave my hands. Well, there was really no point in doing that because by the time I got there, I did see the back end of the reinforcement from Building 4 moving into Building J. And I tried to take some pot shots at them, but by that time, man, I just posted up tried shooting at anything that I saw that was tan, and that's where I saw that tentacle get, grenade thrown in there. So, not much happened after that. Now, while I was stationed in Building A, I linked back up with some friends. Josh, Junior, Senior, and Richard were coming through. I said, this is pointless. I'm going to go ahead and, go with you guys, because I want to have some fun today. I didn't pay $100-some just to stand around the building posted up. So we then entered buildings I and 4. I and 4 are like, one's a cell block and the other one's kind of like an older building, but they're attached to each other. But they are 2 separate buildings technically. One has a breezeway. So we go into building I, and we find our guys in there, which is awesome, great, good news. Then we move through building I into building 4, and there's this breezeway. We run into more of our guys, and they say, hey, if you guys could just like post up here in this breezeway and make sure nobody comes through, that'd be fantastic. So we do that. This is one point where I'm running the MG. I still have the MG, so I can't shoot inside. I got my pistol out. We try going into, I think it's building 5 or 6 from that breezeway, and it's we're having like trouble, like, hey, should we go this way, should we go that way? So we're like, all right, we're just gonna go back. We go back into this breezeway, and there's one door in this breezeway. Funnily enough, I could have sworn it was one of the locked doors that we had issues with when we were trying to get out of the open at that massacre with the U-Haul truck. So anyway, we get there, and Senior looks out the window. He says, hey, there's 4 guys right there by building I. I was like, oh, no way. So we go, it's like, all right, bring your machine gun. We're gonna get them. And we do. So he opens the door up for me. We pepper them, and then I believe I know I got 3 of them for sure right off the bat. Sorry if I overshot any of y'all. I know I shot him in the back. And then there's one guy I think Josh took some pot shots at. Not sure if he got him or not. But we're like, oh man, that was awesome. We're like, high-fiving and, stuff like that. Not really, but we get lit up from behind where the good guys were. So we're not sure if it's friendly fire or not, but we don't get shot at from that direction anymore. Unfortunately, within the next 20 or 30 seconds, we've got about a dozen tan guys at that same door, ready to, they're prepping a grenade. They're ready to just bust us. So we're like, yeah, we're good. We're out of ammo. We're gonna go, because we know it's not gonna end well. And so yeah, that was I think that was one of the last things I did before nighttime. I remember we tried to take building J back from the rear, but there were some plaid guys in there. Not sure what team they're supposed to be associated with, but they were wearing plaid. And it was just like 3 of them holding it down. We couldn't get through with the demo squad. We called on some other, some guys who had black camo on, looked like they were from one unit, like one little squad together, came there together. They seemed pretty cohesive, but we just couldn't get through that door. And, so that one didn't go so well. But I feel like I'm forgetting more stuff, but I'm just going to go right ahead to the time we went back out at night, because this is already getting kind of long. So we went back out. Our XO Dan was getting tired of sitting behind a screen, and he wanted to see some action. So he's like, we're going to rally up whoever else is, free and willing to go. And we're going to go. So he did, and I went. I wasn't sure if I was going to go back out because I didn't have night vision. I knew a lot of guys did. But we went back out. We had Nate, I believe, and Josh Sr. in the front with night vision. We had one other guy with IR night vision in the back. Dan kept calling him the shepherd, I guess, trying to keep us in line. And we had like 10 or 12 guys, I think. Everybody had a buddy. So my buddy happened to be Dan, the XO. And he is, he's got nuts, dude. He's trying to, constantly push, and I like him for that. But sometimes it's like, it's like, no, it's good. So we basically roll up past the front of building 1, right beside these 2 buildings that are out of play because they're too damaged to be inside of. And we roll past, and people are taking pot shots at us. We're taking pot shots at people. Nate's got thermals and night vision, all this cool gadgetry and stuff like that. So he's, he can see everything, and nobody else can see anything. So we're all kind of just huddled behind him and Josh. And so Dan tells him, like, hey, keep moving. You know, we're not here to, like, engage people. We're here to just go get these objectives and get stuff done. And I'm like, all right, I'm all for that. You know, we've been losing. So, but yeah, we roll up this alleyway, I think right in front of building, where is it? We pass in front of building 1, right up to the front of building 5 through an alleyway. At this point, I think the enemy had taken building 5. They had pretty much everything at that point, according to the skirmish. So, passing in front of building 5, but we're on the other side of some bushes from building 5, so we're not out in the road or anything. We all get down, you know, there's flashlights, there's like hand reinforcements everywhere. It's like a Call of Duty episode, like that all gillied up thing from Modern Warfare. People are just passing right over us, you know, and they don't see us. And there's so much confusion because nobody knows who's who at night, and nobody's willing to shoot their buddies. So like flashlights are pointed at us, but I don't know if they saw us and didn't want to shoot us or what. So we ended up getting to the this little position, this little what do you call it, like a perch on a hill kind of over top of building E, and this is where the fun begins for us. So we have, I believe, our 2 guys with night vision on Overwatch. They're trying to take shots at the guys that posted up in the door in building E. And building E, it's like a solid 100 feet at least from the corner of this building to this door on either side. So it's like a V with the door in the center of the V, and it's like 100 feet of just brick wall. Nothing to hide behind, nowhere to go, just no man's land. So Dan has this really good idea. Dan gets up behind this tree and this rock, and I get up behind him, and he's got this really, really bright flashlight. And he shines a flashlight. He's basically telling everybody, like, hey, wherever I point this flashlight, I want you guys to shoot. And he just pointed at the door because, you know, what are you going to do? What else are you going to shoot at? So Dan has this really good idea where he tells me, hey, I'll give you a grenade. Why don't you go, or like, you have any grenades? I was like, I said, I have one. He's like, all right, I'm going to give you mine. I want you to flank left and get up to that door and see if you can get a grenade in there. It's like, all right, I don't think I can do this at this point. But I'm like, I'm not going to do anything else today. Like, my AK has been having feeding issues the entire day. I'm not, like, that good as a rifleman. I'm kind of just, you know, a meat shield at this point. So I'm like, screw it. Let's go have some fun. So I take the grenade and I go and I run, sprint, straight left and then straight down the wall. Somehow they're focused on the flashlight and the other guys that went to the right of us, that they don't see me. And I'm telling you, I'm not lying. I'm within 30 feet of that door. And I get prone, I lay down. And I can hear my buddy Nate, the sniper, taking pot shots at me, like just real, like, scary, like, oh, okay. I don't think he knows I'm on his side, even though I'm pointed at the door. He's still taking pot shots at me, so I'm like trying to wave, but I can't move too much because I'm sure they're gonna see me. Because every now and then a flashlight shines over my way. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be it. I'm gonna get lit up, and then I never do. So I definitely had the light shown on me a couple times. Now there was this metal mesh cage in between me and this door. And this cage is, when it was a prison, they used to just put your prisoner in there. I guess you cuff them up and just, it'd be for holding for like a couple minutes or whatever. But this cage is still there. It's blocking my way into the door. So basically what I'm doing, I'm trying to get as close as I can. And remember how I said I was no good at throwing? I try it anyway. I take the old EG-67, I chuck it in there, but it bops off the door frame, comes back outside. I'm like, crap! So I stumble and I fall and I scramble back to my position where my AK is, because I left it in the grass, and it goes off like outside the door. It's like, crap! All right, okay. And I'm like, I'm shaking because I got so much adrenaline and it's so exciting. I'm like, all right, I got to do this again, man. I'm here, and I'm like, I can't believe nobody saw me, because like it's pitch black besides these lights. And if, like, you get a second to where you are, you know, just not in the light, you can get away with a lot of stuff. But it's a big risk. So basically, I did it again. And that time, got it right in the door. It went right off. I could hear people like, oh, you know. And then I can overhear them because I'm only 30 feet away. They're talking like, hey, like, I just want to make sure we didn't all die, like from that grenade. Like they're saying, like they're trying to like quantify like what just happened, you know, because I guess they didn't really know where it came from. They didn't know if it was a friendly grenade, but I know that there were at least, you know, there was a medic that did not get hit. I'm guessing. You know, airsoft is an integrity sport, if you want to call it a sport, but somebody did get medic, so somebody called it hit. But that was I was pretty happy with myself. And at that point, I was like, all right, well, they're still in there. They're still kicking. That should have gotten most of them. But there's still guys in there, and they're getting brought back up. So I'm like, all right, it's now or never. I pull out my pistol. I pull out my AK that doesn't feed very well, you know, unless you hold the mag in and angle it a certain way or, you know, put it upside down. So it's real finicky. And I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm about 5 seconds away from just charging in there and just lighting up as many guys as I can. And Dan calls on the radio, says, Adam, come back. Or no, there's no radio. I hear him say, Adam, come back. So I'm like, all right, well, that decides that for me. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then after that, I got all the way up around. I got Dan shine me in the face of the flashlight mistakenly because he didn't know who I was, but it's all good. We went back around to the side of Building E where we had been during the daytime with a different group, and I think from that point we came across a couple of guys. Yeah, there was a couple tan in the road down from us. I can't say south-north. I really don't remember which way it was, but it was below us near Building K, and 3 guys with their flashlights all shined them up at the same time because they didn't know who we were. Well, we lit them up because at that point we linked up another group, and we had about at least 12 guys with us. You know, either between being out in the open or being up against the wall, and it was a massacre. And so we had a couple guys, you know, get hit, but they had more guys get hit. So I think we kind of just wiped their squad. Unfortunately, this is probably the most regrettable thing, even more regrettable than not bringing proper flashlights. Was I pulled a pistol on one of our guys. I think it was Dylan. It was hard to see, but I could have sworn it was a tan uniform on the ground and this guy was reviving him. Like, I pulled my pistol. I said, hey, you're not trying to revive him, are you? I pulled my pistol. I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, oh, you're green. I was like, yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. And at that point, I think what had happened was a U-Haul truck came through. They dropped their guys off. And I don't know exactly what happened, so I'm not even going to speak on it. But there was some kind of fiasco with the U-Haul truck. I was not there at that point. We were trying to go find Josh Jr. But that was so much fun, man. I love that AO. I love the way these games are set up. It's worth the money. It really is. If you have good gear and you have a good group of friends to go with, do it. It's not worth waiting on because these only happen so often. There's another one next month, but unfortunately the wife said no. Being the middle of December, it's going to be like a lot of holiday stuff going on, lots of stuff going on. So it's like, all right, I understand. And it is a lot of money for the ticket, but dude, it is so worth it. Even if you don't have that great a kit, because I do not. I own probably about 10 guns, and I have like half of a working one at any given time. Like this works right now. It might not work tomorrow. And this, it's been pretty reliable, but it's having feeding issues, and I'm probably going to take it to Jackal Tactical here soon and see what they can do. I'm trying to keep it to under $100 to get every single gun working again. Maybe I might sell a couple after that, but I just want 1 or 2, maybe 3 really good ones. Same with pistols, and after that I'll be happy. I don't need a huge collection, even though they are fun to, they're toys. I like to play with them, so... So anyway, if you guys are interested in it, go hit up Otherworld Productions. They're on, I believe, Facebook, and they're on, just look up, the website. Alicia Rivera Photography was there. I haven't seen the photos yet. I don't think they're out yet at this point. Recording this on, what's the Sunday after. So they're not out yet as far as this video is. So I will be probably using one of her photos as the thumbnail for this because she takes some great shots. There were a couple of, I think there was a food truck or 2 there too, and then of course Jackal Tactical, being the vendor, I think Paul runs that stuff too. So Paul always does a great job. Like I can't say I've ever had a bad whole experience at one of his games. I think that they're set up really well, and he really just puts his heart and soul into it. So, Paul, if you're watching this, probably not, but thank you. And everybody else at Otherworld, appreciate it. And whoever is organizing the things at Cresson, really appreciate that. There's a lot of other events coming up for Cresson too. Well, not a lot, but there's at least one. I think Nomad Milsim, just giving him a shout out. He seems like a cool guy. He's kind of new to the scene, but he does really put some effort into it as well. Nomad Milsim is holding a game called, I think it's Fractured Skull 2. That's the one I can't make it to, unfortunately, but if you guys do, let me know how it goes. And just really thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, putting up with the so far crappy editing and even non-existent editing that I do. So I am going to be working on that. I'm going to be getting some cameras set up and probably just getting some editing software here soon. I don't think I'm going to make like a huge living out of it, but I'd like to make something cool out of it. I build this stuff and I take it out and somebody might take a picture of it. Some people have taken pictures of me like, hey, can I get a picture? Oh, that's so cool. But to get it, more widespread, like, hey, you can do this kind of stuff yourself. I kind of need to make better videos, make better content. So, feed the algorithm, if you will. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.